Hey guys, welcome to the Common Sense Football Show and welcome to today's show. I've got a very entertaining show for you guys today. We're going to go through Manchester United's embarrassing defeat at the hands of Sevilla in the Europa League, Maguire and David De Gea, shenanigans again, absolutely embarrassing. And we're also going to go through Roma's triumphant night, beating Feyenoord to book their place in the last four of the Europa League. Mourinho has still got it. Another amazing European adventure for Mourinho, taking Roma to the semi-finals. We're also going to do a brief Premier League preview, just focusing mainly on Arsenal's game with Southampton and also Manchester City facing Sheffield United in the FA Cup and the implications that might have on the rest of the season. So first things first, Manchester United. So they're going away to Sevilla. They gave up a 2-0 lead at home at Old Trafford. Sevilla fighting back to make it 2-2 on the night last week. So it was still even Stevens, and Manchester United could easily have qualified for the last four, the semi-finals of the Europa League. But Sevilla completely blitzed them, blew them away. First things first, Man United did have a lot of injuries, to be fair. Varane, Martinez was injured, and they had Lindelof and Maguire at the base of their defence. Still a lot of experience between those two guys. They've played at Manchester United for a long time, but still proving to be absolutely pathetic. Harry Maguire having an awful night, getting a 1.9 rating out of 5 in certain rating systems. Absolutely pathetic. The first goal was between him and David De Gea. The way it looked like Maguire was actually asking for the ball, because you know the top coaches now, the top clubs, they all want to play out from the back. I am a fan of playing out from the back, but I'm also a fan of, if it ain't on, kick it long. And also, you know, playing out from the back, you know, sometimes it can put unnecessary pressure on your own goal. You know, you need to be very good at it. And sometimes, even if you are phenomenal at it, if a team's really good at pressing, they can catch you out. So, you know, Maguire asking for the ball off David De Gea in the middle of the pitch, just outside the goalkeeper's box. He receives the ball, you know, bang, right before he knows it, there's 3 Sevilla players looming on him. Maguire, as he does, panics, does what Maguire does, pathetic. He tries to pass it to, I think it was Lindelof or Wan-Bissaka in the right back position. Ball gets intercepted, sprinting on goal, slots it away. Now, you know what? I feel a little bit sorry for Harry Maguire, because nothing, since he's come to Manchester United, nothing seemed to have gone right for him. He's had a couple of good moments. I know his first season at the club was his best, you know, but ever since then it's just gone downhill. Just not warranting the 80 million that he cost. Probably, in my opinion, from my viewpoint, the worst signing in Premier League history. One of the worst signings in history in football in general. Just shocking. But then, as I feel sorry for him, he goes and does things like doing this stupid celebration when he scores against rubbish teams in an England shirt on international duty. I mean, come on, you know, just be humble. You know, prove your worth on the pitch with your performances. And yesterday, another shambolic performance by Harry Maguire. Where does he go from here? Because he ain't going to be at Manchester United next season. I don't think that none of the top clubs in the Premier League will touch him. Maybe Spurs, you know, might sign him. That's a Spursy thing to do. But I just think with the Spurs, even though they're crap, they still have certain ambitions to try and get in the top 4. So they're going to try and get a progressive coach like a Nagelsmann, like an Enrique, or whoever will go there. And that coach is going to want to play, you know, front foot football, keep a high line, pressing from the front as the strikers press, the midfield press, and then the defence press as well. So keeping compact. And what that does is you're holding a high line, so there's lots of space in behind. And that is Maguire's weakness, because if teams play through the press like a City can do, like an Arsenal can do, like a Liverpool can do, like a lot of the top clubs in Europe can do, then Maguire's going to get exposed because there's so much space to run into and he has no pace. So if I was him, like, if I was advising Maguire, I would advise him, go to Italy. A slower league, defensively very tactically minded. A lot of the teams play, a more traditional style of football, where they're playing 5 at the back, 3 centre halves, they're more compact. That will suit him a lot more. I think the ideal place for him would be Roma. We all know Mourinho wanted him in the past. That's a place where other Man United centre-backs have gone there, like Smalling, and thrived. With Jose and the way Jose plays, the system he plays, how defensively solid his teams are, Maguire could thrive in that environment, playing a 5 at the back, being one of the 3 centre-halves. He could thrive. And, the Italian league in general isn't so quick. So his weaknesses won't be as exposed as regularly as they are in England, and also playing in teams that play that more higher line progressive style of football. So Maguire should really look to go abroad, and I think that he might have to take a pay cut, but he's still going to get paid well. He's rich anyway. He's already a millionaire. Go play in Italy, mate. Go play in Italy, fella. Go to Italy, geezer. Maybe Mourinho can save him. United will cut their ties, so they'll probably sell him reasonably cheap. And he'll have to just, swallow humble pie, take a bit of a wage cut. It'll still probably be one of Roma's highest paid players. And I'm pretty sure Maguire in Italy, playing for a team like Roma with Jose Mourinho would do quite well, would flourish, I think. 100%. Tom, let me know what you guys think about that viewpoint. David De Gea had another howler. David De Gea is a top keeper for many seasons, rated Manchester United Player of the Season, saving them, accumulating them so many points, saving them from lower point totals. But with his feet, he's not so good. And, even though there's probably goalkeepers out there that are better than him with their feet, are they better goalkeepers than David De Gea? Probably not. But the way the game is going and playing out from the back, goalkeepers have to be good with their feet. And David De Gea isn't. He was bought at a time by Alex Ferguson where, being a goalkeeper, just save the ball, catch it, throw it, kick it. That's it. Now you have to be able to play the ball with your feet and have skills with your feet. And he just doesn't have it. He's fumbling all over the place. So, I think Erik ten Hag and Manchester United will be looking for a goalkeeper, a modern day goalkeeper. At the end of the day, David De Gea is still a legend. And I don't think that a goalkeeper should be their main priority, because I still think that David De Gea can perform at the top level. I just think that, the fact that Maguire is so shit, and, Lindelof, that sort of probably brought back a little bit of anxiety for him. And he just didn't have the security knowing that he had Varane and Martinez in front of him. Centre-backs that are good with their feet, that are much better than the likes of Lindelof and especially Maguire. So maybe that contributed to his performance, the fact that he didn't trust the back four in front of him. And can you blame him with those 2 centre-halves, especially Maguire? So, David De Gea made a couple of blunders, but he's still a top goalkeeper. He's got loads of credit in the bank, for club and country. He's achieved a lot. So we'll see what Ten Hag will do in the goalkeeping department during the summer. As for Erik ten Hag, bad luck, having those injuries to the likes of Martinez, Varane, key. And they might be key for the rest of the season. Some of the substitutions he made last game, the first leg against Sevilla, were a little bit suspect. So that might have cost them. Sevilla are a very good team, disrespected a lot by the pundits and the English sports media, calling them a band of misfits. But they've got, World Cup winners in their team, you know, like a Kuna who plays at left back. They've got Rakitic, you know, in their team. Yes, he's an aging Rakitic, but he's still one of the great modern day midfielders in the world, in Europe, winning everything. They've got a lot of good players. Domestically, they're not doing so well, but they could go on and win this tournament. You know, they could really go on and win this tournament, the Europa League, and they have a lot of good players. They're not just a bunch of misfits. They're a bunch of good pros with World Cup winners. You know, players that have been on Ballon d'Or shortlists. You know, all-time greats like Rakitic. Come on, put a bit more respect on their name than calling them a bunch of misfits. And I'm sure I'm going to put respect on their name because they're a good team with good players. Where do Man United go from here? They have to focus on trying to get in the top 4, and they have to focus as well at the task in hand, trying to beat Brighton and get in the FA Cup final, and that will be a tough game. Brighton are a very good team. At this precise moment in time, they'll be the team with the confidence. They'll be the team with the forward trajectory. So it's going to be a very hard test for United to get past Brighton, because I think Brighton are the favourites in that FA Cup game, in that FA Cup semi-final. I fancy Brighton to beat United, to do them, especially with the likes of that centre-half pairing. I mean, it ain't looking too good. On some of the positives for United, Anthony played really well. You know, he showed a lot of heart. He showed a lot of, you know, willingness to try and make things happen. He was Manchester United's best attacking outlet. From my viewpoint, he isn't worth the money he is, but what players are worth the money they are in this current valuation? He has not been a flop. He has done quite well in his first season with goal contributions, and he seems to have the right attitude. And you know, I like Anthony. I think he's a good player, and I think he is going to improve. You know, what happened to giving players time? No one does it anymore. The guy, he's Brazilian. He's coming from the Dutch league. He doesn't speak English. It's a whole new culture. What happened to giving players a season and a half or a season to adapt? First season, I think he's done quite well. And I think that some of the pundits, you know, they tend to scapegoat Anthony and Bruno and Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United and David De Gea. Well, hold on a minute. Jadon Sancho, and I'm a fan of Jadon Sancho, he played a lot worse than Anthony, but they're scapegoating Anthony instead of Jadon Sancho. David De Gea, he actually pulled off some good saves, making it less embarrassing for United, and they're scapegoating him instead of Harry Maguire, and they're always scapegoating Bruno Fernandes. When anything goes wrong for Manchester United, the pundits and the sports media, English-based, they're always pointing at Bruno Fernandes as the reason. And why is that? What happened to Maguire? They seem to sweep that under the carpet. You know, Sancho's a good player, but you're trying to say that that Anthony is more fallible than a Sancho, and that's a nonsense. So, you know, what's the difference? I mean, let's specifically look at David De Gea and Maguire. Now I'm watching some of the coverage and some of the pundits talk about the game yesterday, analysing the game yesterday, and they're really focusing on David De Gea and not Maguire. Now, the only difference is that one's got an English passport and the other one ain't. Make of that what you will, guys, but, you know, it looks a little bit silly. You know, some of these pundits, ex-players, they don't have a Scooby-Doo what they're talking about, and they're so biased. It's embarrassing, shocking. Take the bias out of it and analyse it honestly and properly, please, like I will do. But yeah, Manchester United, they have to focus on getting into the top 4 and trying to make sure that this season doesn't fall away from them. A lot of injuries, so Erik ten Hag, he's going to have to try and work some sort of magic to try and make things work. Roma, amazing victory yesterday, beating Feyenoord at home, great night. The stadium looked rocking, amazing atmosphere. Mourinho, some people, some pundits, fans say he's past it. Nah, Mourinho's not past it. Nah, he's one of the all-time great coaches. He's a phenomenal coach. And I tipped Roma to win the Europa League. and for Mourinho to add another trophy to his collection, another European trophy to his collection, and for his stock to go up even more. Big clubs will be looking at him thinking, should they take a chance on Mourinho again? And it won't be a chance, to be honest, because the guy is absolutely the cream of the crop. Ratings to Jose and ratings to Roma for making the last four of the Europa League, and they're still with a chance of getting into the top four in Serie A. So the last four of the Europa League are Sevilla, Roma, Juventus, and who's the last one? Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen, Juventus, Roma, and Sevilla. Good luck to those teams. It's going to be great games. Premier League's back on the weekend. I want to focus specifically on Arsenal in this video. Arsenal are playing Southampton. They have to try and get back to winning ways. You know, it is a chance to extend the lead a little bit because Manchester City will be playing Sheffield in the FA Cup. So, do I think Arsenal are going to win? Yes, I think they will get back to winning ways. I think that this is a game where they should look to score a lot of goals and get confidence back. Arsenal need to try and show the right attitude and show the willingness and show the attitude of champions. And really and truly, for the last 7 games, they have to show if they deserve to be champions, and they have to show what they are made of. With Manchester City playing Sheffield United in the FA Cup, it's a good chance to extend their lead, even though Manchester City will have 2 games in hand. Looking at the way some of these Manchester City players looked in Munich against Bayern in the week, I think some of them are getting a little bit leggy. I do. And I think even for a team as good as Manchester City, fighting on 3 fronts, having to face Real Madrid home and away, the FA Cup, chasing down Arsenal in the Premier League, they have a massive squad, but you know, when you take out their first 11, the quality does drop. So I think that they are getting tired, and this could be an advantage. And it is a lot of pressure. It's a lot of mental pressure to keep winning these games, especially when you know that Arsenal have a gap and you need to catch them. It's hard. So Arsenal need to take advantage of that. So FA Cup this weekend, Manchester United versus Brighton and Manchester City versus Sheffield United. I think Brighton are going to beat Manchester United, and Manchester City should make routine work. No disrespect of Sheffield United. So let's tune in for those games, guys. Guys, I will be back tomorrow. So again, I appreciate all your support. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the feedback. Please smash the like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.